All right, hey gang, I'm coming to you from Silicon Valley. We're out here visiting Litmus at their corporate headquarters. Our goal yesterday and today, we met with their entire team. Vatsil, CEO, John Eunice, the Chief Operating Officer, the founders, all the developers, Adam Kennedy, the guys who've been with the company from the very beginning. We had a couple of primary goals when we came out here to talk to Litmus primarily about their roadmap, where are they going, but also we were bringing questions and concerns from the community that I solicited before we made this trip. And our primary goal, my primary goal, after learning about their roadmap and what they have going on, and they got a lot of incredible stuff going on with agentic AI and a bunch of new features that they have coming out. But my primary goal was to get them to support a land and expand licensing model. That is supporting citizen developers being able to download and deploy Litmus Edge and the Litmus suite of solutions, either via Docker, Docker Compose, or the OS image on a 2-hour resettable license or some feature thereof. Because right now, if you want to use Litmus Edge, like say you just want to, the easiest way for a citizen developer to deploy it is like they'd have to go to Azure and deploy it as like an app through Azure, or go to Google and deploy it through MDE. But in order for you to be able to just deploy it, say on a Raspberry Pi yourself to test Litmus Edge, you really have to talk to a service rep and get a service JSON file that you would deploy with a Docker. And that's just obviously, that's a barrier to entry that's too high for most citizen developers who aren't even sure, they just want to test out the platform. So that the good news is it's pretty clear that's coming. We had a ton of conversations. I went back to that 4 or 5 times. We talked about the benefits of the vendor, Litmus supporting that style of licensing, and they're on board for it. And actually, they wireframed how they would do a 2-hour resettable license before we ever went out to the networking event last night. That's number one. Number two, I learned a lot while I was here. I knew the platform really well. I didn't know the origin story of the company or really their go-to-market strategy completely understood their go-to-market strategy. I do now. But here's the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway I took from. If you want to know why Litmus has grown the way they have and why they seem to be everywhere, it has to do with the fact, I got a chance to see their underlying architecture. And since 2017 and 18, they have had an internal unified namespace running inside the platform that is different than what you see in most software platforms. Most software platforms basically have a ORM, a master data model, and then a canonical data model that the API, the software API accesses to visualize stuff and run features and run modules. That's not what Litmus does. Litmus essentially has a data layer in the center of their platform that takes all structured and unstructured data and organizes it in a unified namespace that all the modules access. It's internal, they never talk about it, but when they put it up on the whiteboard, I literally drew a big circle around it. I said, now this explains why you're able to build so many new features. They have at least 50 features that they've never released. Like they literally have like 50 features that customers use and stuff that they've never actually released to widely. They're literally able to build a feature for a customer, and then if that works for that customer, they may consider making that feature available in the entire platform. And the reason they're able to do that is because of how the software is architected. And now this is 2 times in the last month where I have had a chance to do a deep dive on the software architecture for 2 different vendors, Critical Manufacturing first and now Litmus, where both of them were using bleeding edge architectures. And that never happens. Every time I see someone's software stack, it's a software stack that's existed for 30 years, which explains why the cost is so high, the maintenance is so high, the barrier to entry to using the platforms are so high because of these dated software architectures. Critical Manufacturing uses an internal UNS. They basically wrap their intellectual property in a container, and then they wrap that in open architectures. And then Litmus does a very similar thing. But the difference, Litmus has an internal UNS that they've been running since 2017, 2018. And it's really fucking brilliant, okay? All right, so we're getting ready to head back over to their offices. We're gonna kind of put a bow on this visit. We're going to spend another 5 hours or so, and I'm going to follow up on some things that we did last night and some ideas that I have, and we're going to talk about. We're going to kind of get them to commit to this go-to-market strategy of land and expand for citizen developers. But I just wanted to say, you know, coming out here, I didn't have high expectations. I love Litmus, but I didn't have high expectations. I thought they'd give me the, you know, the marketing spiel and, you know, schmoozing and all that stuff. No. I asked them really hard questions about their go-to-market strategy. I was pretty hard on them in a couple of places, and they were like, listen, this is exactly what we want. So from a purely values perspective, from a mission perspective, and from a technical perspective, you know, Litmus is a leader. I mean, there's no question they're a leader, for sure. And there's an incredible amount of good that Litmus can do for 95% of manufacturers, the 25 million or less in revenue, 200 employees or less, that they're currently not tapping into because their go-to-market strategy is primarily through the enterprise because of the way licensing works with Litmus. Litmus is an incredibly competitive product licensing-wise, but it's the way you license it that creates that barrier where you have to go through the IT group right now, and that's going to change. All right, with that, like, subscribe, comment down below. We'll have more about Litmus coming here in the near future, and thank you for watching.